In this week's Seder of Kislev, after the description of the most terrible physical maladies and emotional sufferings described in the Torah, the Torah states, and do you know why, God forbid, it shall happen to you? It will occur because we fail to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to attend to the mitzvahs commanded us with a feeling of joy, the feeling of simcha, appreciating all that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has blessed us with. Now, I find this terribly difficult to digest for two separate reasons. Firstly, because of the fact that when mitzvahs are performed, if we adhere to the principles and to the actual commands, then even if indeed the joyous fervor is lacking, but we've still done them, we've still performed them, we've still listened to them. So why would we possibly be punished, let alone with a heinous description provided in the Torah itself? And secondly, just two psukim prior to this, the pasuk says, "Uva alecha kol haklos ha'ela." Do you know why all of these curses will befall you? You know why they will chase you and catch up to you? Adi shamdach, until you are veritably destroyed. Kilo shamata b'kol Adonai Elohecha, because you didn't listen to the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your God. L'shmar mitzvot savach l'kosav asher tzivach, to observe the mitzvot and the statutes as He commanded. Now, 1 second. So, which is it? Did we not perform the mitzvot? Or did we perform the mitzvot, but simply without joy? And if we did it without simcha, then we performed the mitzvot. And two psukim earlier we told, presumably, that if we did perform the mitzvot, then we should never suffer anything that's enumerated here. So I saw a magnificent comment with a mashal in the yaakov by the Magen Medubda, and he suggests as follows. He gives us a mashal that says, the businessman returns home after a long business trip, and he's oiskamat. He's terribly fatigued, and he falls onto his chair, and he instructs his servant to run back immediately to the train station because he actually forgot his suitcase there with everything that he required during the trip itself. So the fellow makes a beeline for the rail station, and he returns. He enters the foyer of the house, setting down on the floor the suitcase. He runs into his master and he says, I found it, I've got it. And he's dripping with sweat, bathed in sweat. And the businessman looks at him and he says, you got the wrong bag. The servant turns to him and says, what do you mean I got the wrong bag? You haven't even seen the suitcase. To which his master responded, the suitcase that I left by the railway station is very, very light and would never produce the beads of sweat that appear on your forehead and appear on your clothing. So obviously, you took the wrong bag. Suggested Dubna Magid, mitzvahs are supposed to make our lives rich with joy. Not every mitzvah is simple to perform. Not every mitzvah is easy to perform. But mitzvahs are supposed to give meaning to our lives. And truth be told, if you can open up a sefer and not get a geschmack out of learning, well, that means that something's wrong with the learning. All of us have distractions in our Shemona Esreis, in a Shachris or a Mincha or a Maariv from time to time. But if you never have a davening in which you feel raised and uplifted, elevated closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, well then, it means that you're not davening properly. If a person could go through Shabbos Kodesh and feel more the constraints and restraints of Shabbos, rather than that which turns a person into another individual with a different sheen and a different shine on his face, if Shabbos isn't uplifting, giving one enough energy to spill over into the week ahead, well then it means that we're not really experiencing Shabbos and we're not performing the mitzvahs of the day in the way and in the manner that HaKadosh Baruch Hu intended. It means effectively that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will look at us and say, if you indeed don't receive joy from your avodas Hashem, well then the earlier pasuk, you know why? Kilo shamata b'kol Adonai Elohecha lishmor mitzvosav v'chukosav asher tzivach. Because then, effectively, you are not engaged and you are not fulfilling and you're not observing his mitzvos and his statutes that he commanded. Because his would not have the same result. Your mitzvos, if they're joyless, are counterfeit mitzvos. And those were never commanded, never afforded us by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And he never meant that they should guard our lives. Have a wonderful Shabbos.